life.
But your lighting looks so much better.
Doesn't it though? There's not a bed behind me. There's now a wall.
This is true.
What to use as an opt-in for generic posts. Janie mentioned in the group that her top 5 posts had no specific opt-in because they were not regular topics. So she was asking for ideas and suggestions on what she could use as an opt-in. And I just want to quickly remind you guys of the idea of a site-wide opt-in. This is something that I use on my blog and Caroline does as well. And if you're not sure what a site-wide opt-in is, it is an opt-in that works site-wide, no matter how many niches are on your blog. So my Simple Living Country Gal is what, a 4 or 5 niched blog, which is what all the professionals tell you not to do. I do everything wrong. So I have gardening, I have chickens, I have goats, I have simple living, I have frugal living, and I think I have decluttering on there as well. So I have a ton of topics under the umbrella of simple living. But here's the thing. People that want to raise chickens could care less about frugal tips, and people with frugal tips could care less about gardening. So that's why it is considered a multi-niched blog. And I have to have an opt-in that covers the gambit of everybody, because we teach, Caroline and I, that if you want to grow a list of your perfect reader, your opt-in needs to match your blog post exactly. The more it matches your blog post, the more you're going to get the perfect reader onto your list. But when you have a generic blog post, you don't want to just let those people go because they're generic. So the way you filter out the people that are just there to read and leave and the people that do actually belong on your list is to have a site-wide freebie. So my site-wide freebie for my Simple Living Country Gal blog is a project planner that works for everybody. It's how to plan projects and budget for them for the entire year. So that works for homesteaders. It works for goat people. It works for frugal living people. It works for everybody. And that is my site-wide freebie. Now, Caroline, you have one as well, do you not?
I do. And this is one of those, you guys, I need to tell you this. I need to brag on Tracy because she's not going to brag on herself. I did not have a site-wide freebie. I had one at the bottom. I did all the things wrong. I used to have one at the bottom of my blog post. And then I would say to Tracy, I don't know why my list isn't growing. And she's like, here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. I made a site-wide freebie that she suggested and my list grew. I mean, it must have doubled.
That's so awesome.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Now, let me sing your praises again here, because inside of my niche, I have a lot of roundup posts. I love making roundup posts because they are easy. They are helpful. It's kind of like a library for people, and they do really, really well on Pinterest. Here's kind of the problem, I guess, is like I do roundup posts that to me, they make sense. To me, I wanted to have a list of the best recipes that I could make in under a half an hour with a rotisserie chicken. Delicious things that I found on Pinterest again. So I have this blog post that is 30 something recipes that you can make with a rotisserie chicken. That blew up on Pinterest. Absolutely.
Why?
I know it blew up on Pinterest. Here's kind of the problem though. I am not a recipe blogger. I am not a cooking blogger. However, I will accept the page views, give me all of y'all's money that you don't have to do anything for with the ad revenue, which we talked about last week. But at the same time, I knew that I was going to be attracting some of the people who were there, not necessarily for the recipes, but because they are frugally minded and are like, I have a $5 rotisserie chicken from Costco. What can I do from it? And so inside of that post, I did put a site-wide freebie because I didn't want to just be like, well, I don't want any of you guys who are here, because there is still a spin on that where there are going to be people who are like, I'm not here because I'm trying to be a gourmet chef. I'm here because I have $5 and I need to know how to feed this whole family for a week. Those were the people that I wanted on my list. And so my site-wide freebie was more geared towards the money saving. It would have been really easy to throw up, a day planner or something on there. But I'm like, I don't want the day planner people who are like, I'm trying to be the best mom out there. I want the people who are the money hot messes. That was who I wanted. And so by making that site-wide freebie, I didn't have to cater it to that product or to that blog post. I just took it and put it into that post. And so the natural flow of people who saw it would say, that's something that I need, or they would gloss completely over it.
Yeah, and that filters them out. It
Right
brings in the people that fit your niche, and it filters out the people that don't. And you're still getting a little bit of the goodness from those blog posts. So that's great. With site-wide opt-ins on mobile, it pushes the opt-in down to the bottom. Yes, it does, if it's in the sidebar. Do we also place the same opt-in in other places of the blog post?
Oh, yeah.
The very best place to put in opt-in box is in the top 25% of your blog post. So Karina, what you want to do is make an opt-in box for your site-wide freebie and just have it ready to use whenever you need it. So when you have a blog post that you're like, okay, I don't know if I want to make an opt-in for this yet, I'm going to throw my site-wide freebie in there for now to see how it does. Mm-hmm. And if it takes off, then I'll make a specific opt-in for that blog post. So that's what we recommend you do. Top 25% of your blog post is going to get the most signups than any other place on your blog.
And basically the top 25%, we are not saying divide that page up and do math. That basically means we want it to be before the body, but after the intro. So, you do your first 2-sentence paragraphs that you're telling the backstory, trying to bring people in, making them comfortable with who you are, telling a little bit of why you care about this topic. And then you get to the top 10 ways to organize your home of the post. You want to put that opt-in box before they get to the body of the post.
Get them while the getting's good. Because they're excited to learn. So get them while the getting's good.
And the problem if you put it all the way at the bottom, yes, it's unobtrusive. But how many people, myself included, have never made it all the way to the bottom of a blog post? Even if I liked the blog post and I would have signed up for someone's email list, you're making me scroll?
No, I agree with that. I think we're the worst because we don't have enough time. So we're like, read the bold. Read the bold and the big.
You have to remember, if that's where your people are, if they're skimmers, Tracy and I are really bad. We need to find different partners, Tracy, because we're too similar. We're both bolds, headers, skipping everything else.
All I have time for.
But if that's where our people are, we need to remember it. That's the short attention span that we talked about earlier, is just everybody is go, 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 and try to glean as much information. And if you make them scroll all the way to the bottom of that blog post, you're missing out. And so put it at the top. It doesn't have to be difficult. And you can make these inside of whatever it is that your email service provider is. You can make just a generic looking post that stands out, does not match your brand colors, eye-catching coloring, eye-catching problem solving, highlighting the word free, header, font, a picture of what they're getting, and just copy and paste that sucker and put it into every single one of your generic blog posts.
Gloria asks, how do we put the site-wide freebie on the top of every post page? To put it at the top of every page, you can do Hello Bar. They have a free version. If you have, if you're new and you don't have a lot of page views, a lot of the themes offer them now. Lead Pages offers them, and I believe ConvertKit does as well.
They do.
If you want to put it at the top of every blog post, there is a plugin that Caroline introduced me to called What Would Seth Godin Do? Is that it?
Oh, but that's not an eye-catching one. That's not the bar at the top of the page.
Oh, she's talking just the bar.
Because
my site-wide freebies with Seth Godin. I use Seth Godin for that.
Ooh, okay. So we need to go off on a tangent in a hot second. Can you make a note on What Would Seth Godin Do? Because I want to talk about that plugin. I love that. But as far as putting it into each one of the freebies or each one of our blog post pages, there is a ConvertKit plugin that you can get for WordPress where you can say to put in a site-wide freebie. You choose which freebie it is that you want to put into every blog post. You can customize it. It's at the bottom of the blog post when you're writing it. It's all the way at the bottom, where there's the Yoast bar, and then there's the category. There would be a box for the ConvertKit selection. And it will give you the option as to where you want to put that automatically inside of your post. Here's kind of the caveat, and Tracy and I both do this. We have more than one opt-in inside of each one of our blog posts. So correct me if I'm wrong, but taking that code straight from ConvertKit or straight from Flowdesk or straight from MailerLite, just the embed code and plopping that where you want it inside of the blog post is just easier than trying to figure out how to code everything in like at the bottom and relying on a plugin that might not work
Now,
all the
yeah,
time.
I agree with that. If when in doubt, learn the code, do the code. I think it's easier to do. Janie says, thanks for sharing your ideas. I'll keep thinking about what I can use. I have a general site-wide freebie that works for all my other content, but is not a good fit for recipe posts. Janie, when in doubt, just do a meal planning page.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's a gazillion out there. I have a meal planning page and I don't do recipe posts, but I use that in my food organizing and my frugal living stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just
Oh
do
yeah.
it doesn't have to be. Remember, this isn't a product. It's a freebie. Don't spend a lot of time on it. Get it done, get it in, move on to the next thing. Do not spend a lot of time on it because these are generic people. If these were specifically your people, we would tell you to spend a lot of time on it, but they're not. They're generic. So just don't spend a lot of time on it. You're just trying to grab a few of those people instead of letting them all come and leave.
Because that's kind of one of the problems is we all have these blog posts that we wrote because we're like, I got to get a blog post out this week. And it's like, this isn't exactly my target audience. But I have this post. It was easy to write. I've got it. It's out there. And then that's always the sucker that blows up. Why? So all you can really do is hope that the people who are there who would be your ideal audience, you can grab them and filter them through and get them onto your email list by using a site-wide freebie. Don't put so much pressure on it though. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be too generic. Like I know a lot of people would tell you to just make like a day planner page, but I'm like, that's way too generic for me. Like,
well, yeah, unless you're a productivity
blogger. But like, I meant like I've heard it said for like mom bloggers, for recipe bloggers, for home decor bloggers.
Back when we started blogging, those were the bomb. Were those planner pages?
Yep, they were. But now it's either like everybody has it or it's just too broad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody wants a planner page, but what are you going to do when you have a post that goes viral and you get 10,000 people on your email list for that, whatever freebie it is? But they don't care about what it is that you talk about. So if you go and give them a planner page and turn around and give them a bunch of recipes, sure, you might keep some of them, but a lot of them would be like, that's not what I need. So you need to make sure that you're bringing in the right people from the get-go.
Good point, Miss Caroline.
Yay! I did a help.
What?